Hello there. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hopefully we're still here.
Because it looked like you almost just tried to shut down our entire
Well,
system.
because like I'm like moving the mouse and it's weird because it's like this tiny, like those little trackpad mouses.
Yeah,
So
we got it.
it scared me.
We're here. You good?
I'm good. Now, when was the last time we were here? Remind
Home?
us.
Or on a live stream? It's been a while for both. I think it's been probably a month since we've done a live stream.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So,
Yeah. Hello. We're a little rusty at this.
Welcome, everybody. Carrie, Danny.
2 weeks. It's been longer than 2 weeks, Carrie.
It
I
feels
think it's
longer.
been a month.
Because...
We didn't do the last one because we were traveling.
And that's when we were at HouseCon, which we'll talk about.
We'll talk about HouseCon. And then, but yeah, I mean, I think we did the one right before we left for HouseCon.
Before the episode, yeah.
But, whew.
Feels like a long time.
A lot of travel. We ended up spending 12 days in Orlando because we had 2 events a week apart.
Our second home.
Our second home. I really and truly, like, I was talking to my mom on the phone yesterday, and she was like, "You guys should just get a place there." I was like,
in this economy?
That's what I told her. But yeah, it was a long trip. It was a really good trip, though. We dodged 2 hurricanes in our time there.
Oh, man, like getting over there.
Yeah, Helene hit the day after we got there, and so like when we go, we like to stock up on groceries and just have things like in the room for like snacks and drinks and stuff. And we get there and we go to the grocery store and there's like no water.
Yeah,
we had to get like special fancy like alkaline water or something. But yeah, so that was interesting. And then we ended up leaving a couple days before Milton hit, which it ended up not being as bad as I think in Orlando, not being as bad as anticipated.
Yeah.
But that was interesting.
Yeah, and then we left right before
Milton. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. We made it. Thank you, Katie. Hey, Patrick. We got Carrie, Patrick, Katie, Danny's in here. We got a few people over on Instagram.
Yeah, see, this one we started late because like
you just
that's
started
what
it
happened.
Now.
Like when I was clicking around, I hadn't started it, but we're back. We're over here, Instagram as well, on the tubes.
We got Jeffrey too.
Jeffrey.
Hello, everybody. It's it's been a while since we've done this. We forgot how to talk to each other with lights on.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
It's a joke.
Okay.
We know how to talk to each other. We do it all the time. Kalay's here. Mary and Chaz. They're in Orlando. Had a lot of wind and hard rain with Milton. Lost a couple shingles. Fared much better than others. It seemed like the wind was really bad, and it took a lot of people's like pool cages and that kind of stuff. So that stinks.
Yeah, it's always like which we do, we live in a place that gets hurricanes a lot.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you kind of have to just like hopefully it doesn't tear up too much crap.
Yeah.
And then the repair afterwards.
Yeah.
Sucks. So.
Yeah, we're still dealing with some repairs here at home
from
the hurricane that rolled through here recently, or not that recently.
It's been a minute.
But there has been so much. So we.
All right, yeah. Let's kind of go through the things that we've missed so far, like all the catch up stuff.
All the catch up. We lived a lot of life since we've done a live stream, so we can walk through the trip. We can talk about Spooky Explorers. We can talk about HouseCon. We can talk about all of that stuff, and then I think we can get into the news about Premier Pass at the Disney parks. You can see my little water bottle. Boop. And Epic Universe finally got its opening date announced. So that was interesting.
It's funny.
The war between Disney and Universal.
Well, it's funny that this was almost like a Universal's like, here, we'll take some heat from you. Because because the Premier Pass came out and it was not, I don't know, it's a weird thing for the Premier Pass in our realm where we see a lot of people like griping about it.
Yeah.
But then Universal comes and says we're opening. So then everybody's like, oh, Universal.
Yeah.
So they forget about the Premiere Pass stuff.
I'm curious.
So like the news came at like the best time for Disney because now it's just gonna kind of get swept under the rug.
So Disney announced a lot of news yesterday. Like I said, we'll dig into that in a little bit, but it was interesting because yesterday they announced Premiere Pass, which overall people seem to be complaining about, but you and I we're gonna get into that in more length later. But they also announced these like new benefits for DVC members, and then they showed this whole like rendering of the Disney Adventure, one of the newer cruise ships, which was a ship that they purchased, an existing cruise ship that was being built that they purchased and are finishing out.
But it's not Disney proper. It's Shanghai Disney, or like it's not the Asian
Disney, but yeah, I don't know that
it's Asian Disney.
I think it's in Disney Cruise Line, but it's only going to be going in and out of Singapore, so it's not even near the parks.
But is it being built by Disney Cruise Line, or is it by that other company that does all the Asian Disney parks?
I don't know. There was so much news yesterday that I was just like, ah. And then what was funny is like a few hours after that, we all get like travel agents and people get emails saying like, there's
Stay
news
tuned
tomorrow on Epic Universe. Stay tuned. Something's going to be announced. And I think at this point we all kind of, because they've announced all of the worlds and everything, the lands, world, whatever you want to call it. And then, so we were all like, okay, it's the opening date and maybe they're going to put tickets on sale, which would have been wild. But tickets go on sale on Tuesday. So they must have already been planning to announce the news. But I'm curious if they were waiting for Disney to drop
some kind of news
and then be like, oh, okay, here we go with ours. Like,
yeah, it's weird. Weird that they didn't drop the at least like the first week of dates.
Yeah.
Now.
It's very strange. Anyway, hey Nate, welcome. So let's rewind a little bit back to Spooky Explorers Club.
Yeah.
Because I think that was, yeah. Okay, yeah. Our last live was after we went to New York for the celebration of life for Steve, for Roosevelt.
Yeah.
So we went to Orlando. We were there for 12 days. It was a long trip, but it was a good trip, and we did some things differently. But specifically for Spooky Explorers Club, I think we've talked about it on here. I know we did an episode with Aaron, but now that it's actually happened, we can do a little bit of a recap. But essentially what we ended up doing was a very small, intimate group of people that are into Disney and paranormal, but not like super, super paranormal or scary. It was more spooky. That's why we called it spooky, because it's a lot more inviting or less intimidating. And we had some discussions in the morning where we had guests come in and talk about the spooky side of Disney and some of the attractions like Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, Winnie the Pooh, Tower of Terror. And then it was a two-day event. And then we had an evening the night before, which kind of got sidetracked by the first hurricane that was there. But the first full day, we went to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. That was a lot of fun. And then the next day we did a day in Hollywood Studios. So we got to go ride the rides that we had spent the day talking about.
Well, but I think the cool thing is y'all had like the speakers. There was like, is it a current Imagineer or past Imagineer? Previous Imagineer. But then the
Galentine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had Becky Ann Galentine, who is a mortician.
Yeah, that's what was like crazy.
Which was really cool. And she was really sweet, and it was her birthday.
Oh, during the event?
Yeah, like the last day of the event. So we got to celebrate her birthday, and it was her first time going to Disney, but she's a mortician. She's very much into like the paranormal and that type of world. And so she was talking about the Victorian funeral practices that basically influenced Haunted Mansion. And it was really cool because then when we went on that,
you have a different perspective looking at these things, which is cool.
Yeah, well, we went on Big Thunder Mountain, and something she had mentioned in her talk, we ended up seeing like evidence of it in Big Thunder Mountain. I was like, oh, that's neat. So, yeah, we'll get to Halloween Horror Nights too, but But yeah, so it was a good event. It was really fun. It was like non-stop because, and I don't think I anticipated that, but we tried to start in like later in the morning, like starting at 10 a.m. because we knew we were going to be going into the parks and going into the parks late. And I thought I did schedule time for like the guests to sleep in a little bit, show up around, 9:30, 10, eat breakfast there, do the talks for just a couple hours. Then we would do lunch, take a break for a little bit, and then go do whatever we were going to do in the parks. However, for me and for Aaron, my friend Aaron, who was co-hosting it, we were working the whole time. And so we were there and up at like
before and
8 a.m., setting things up, getting things ready because we were passing things out every day. We had like these scavenger hunts that we did in the park. And then talking to the guests, before they would show up or after everybody broke to take their little mid-afternoon break or nap before we would go out. We're talking to the guests and we're coordinating all these other things and working with Disney on these things and that thing. And it was just like, it was nonstop.
Because you were working.
Because we were working. And so we had a couple of days where we got to like just go to the parks and just hang out. And that next day after Spooky Explorers, I think we didn't plan to rope drop Magic Kingdom, but we wanted to be there like on the earlier side. And I just remember like waking up that morning and be like, But we had bought multipass. We had bought the multipass, which
we were trying that out.
Yeah, because like, it's a free day. We'll get up early. We'll go use that. Everything will be gravy. And then I was just like, so tired. But it was good. It was the first part of the trip was really fun. It's fun to host an event like that and to help start to build more communities.
Yeah.
That was kind of a theme of the whole trip, really, was like,
yeah, no, it was well because like that one was like a con in its own way, in its own sense, but then we also had planned to basically, that's why we stayed there, was because House of Con was right after, which is like a whole different type of con.
But it was cool. Spooky Explorers Club was cool, and we built it in a way that we intended to like start building this community of people that love spooky and love Disney and just want to hang out together. But we also really like fully expected, hey, you guys have admission, like you paid for this ticket to this event and you're getting admission to the Halloween party and to the park. So you're probably going to want to go like ride all the rides and go do all the things and just like go off on your own. And there were a few times where people went off on their own, but for the most part, we were like it was either all together or we had split into two groups and we hung out the entire night. And I was like, I did not anticipate this. So I tour guided everybody around the
you just need one of those little flags.
Yeah, that's what everybody was saying. Thankfully, I had just changed my phone case to a hot pink phone case. So I was just like in front of the group.
What's going on, Dad Vader?
I'm like, get this way, everybody, this way. But it was fun. I hadn't been to the Halloween party since I've gone twice now. You went once.
Yeah.
And when we went, we were still pretty like new in our park going era of our lives. And I want to say we prioritized more of doing the rides. And then I had wanted to watch Hocus Pocus, but it got rained out. And I think the fireworks got rained out when we went. Like it was a rainy day when we had gone. This one, it was very hot, but it didn't rain. The one day it didn't rain. Except then I rode Tiana's and got
wet.
Soaked, like absolutely. And I was the only one in our group that got like that soaked. There was another one that was like 2 or 3 rows back, and she was like, I hardly got wet at all. And I'm like, there's puddles in my lap as I'm like finishing the ride. I was like, but we got lucky because during the party, it's just a standby line, but it had been down, and I think it had been down for a while. And I was like, okay, we just did Big Thunder Mountain. We went and did like one of the trick-or-treat trails, and then there was one like right across the way over by Tiana's. And so we're going over there, and there's a long line for this one. And I was like, this is really weird, guys. And the guy in front of us was like, yeah, how lucky is this, right? And I was like, I mean, it's candy. And he's like, no. He's like, Tiana's has been down for hours, and it just came back up, but it's not even on the app yet. He's like, so it's like, there's nobody. And so we walked pretty much straight on Tiana's, thinking that we were in line for candy. But it was a good, I like that ride. It's a fun little ride.
Yeah.
Don't sit in the front row though. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Do not sit in the front row. And then so the next day we had more speakers, and then we went to Hollywood Studios. We all got to ride Tower of Terror together. It was fun. It was fun going with such a big group and riding rides, because typically when we go, we end up kind of like just accumulating people in our group along the way, where it's like, oh, hey, you're here.
Yeah.
Come join our group. But we end up just like wandering. And with this, we were going specifically to go ride certain rides. And so we did Tower of Terror, and like all of us took up one half of the cart.
That's cool.
And so that was cool. And then we gave off good vibes. And so they actually let us, as we exited, we were just like, they vibed with us and we vibed with them. And so they like took us back up the actual service elevator to get back on the ride right away.
That's cool.
I was like, I've never had this happen. Like it was thrilling to me. And I think the people that had attended were like, oh my God, like you guys are arranging all this stuff. And it was like, sure. Because we even had a spooky.
Sometimes it's just like, it helps. Like they know they
feel it, right?
Yeah.
They sense it. But we had
giving you those magic moments.
We had
But I think that's it. Like being silly aside, they see people, like a group of people having a great time. You know, they see that and they're just kind of, you know what? Here's a little magic.
Go have a little fun. Should I tell my spooky story about
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh, 2 spooky stories actually.
Oh, so I don't know about pirates, but I know.
Tower one?
I know the tower one.
Okay, so the tower one, it's me and Steven going to ride Tower of Terror, just the two of us, which we never ever get to do. Yeah. But it was a few days after Spooky Explorers Club had happened. And so, we're learning all these like ghost stories and like creepy things that are happening. We had some creepy things happen during the event and on some of the rides when we were there with the group. But I get a text message. We were on Tower of Terror. You and I are sitting there. I think we were like front row. And I get a text on my phone, and I get the notification on my watch, and I look, and it was from a number that I don't know. It wasn't even like a local number.
And this is when it's going through like the Twilight Zone time, and then you see the ghosts.
Like the cart's literally moving from the first track through the room to the second track for the drop. And it says, "Hey, are you still alive?" And I didn't think about it at first. I was like, oh, a scam text. And then I was like, oh my God, we're on Tower of Terror.
Well, like when I saw it, because you were checking, I was like, who's texting you right now? Because like I'm right here.
Yeah. It's just you and me.
And so I see it, and I was like, alive? What is that? And then that's when we start going up and down, and I was like, oh man.
It was like a ha ha ha, and then I was like, oh. I love that ride though, man. Tower of Terror is just like my favorite. It terrifies me every time. Like when you're moving through that room, I'm like,
the excitement going through.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. But let's talk about Pirates of the Caribbean, because that was spooky. So
I think that's just it was a convenience thing. I think our thing was more spooky. But go ahead.
Our thing was very spooky. So we go on, and I posted it in my stories if you watch. So this, I'll make it a shorter story. But we had learned during our talks that there is a ghost that haunts Pirates of the Caribbean at Walt Disney World. He was like a welder or something. And I guess in the fire room, he was working in the fire room, and he fell to his death. And so it's kind of ironic because he was working in a fake fire room and then fell to his death, and I guess drowned in the water because it's a water ride or a boat ride.
Makes sense.
Right? George, yes. Jeffrey knows the story about George. So there's George the welder. He haunts the fire room. Apparently, the cast members know there's like a ritual, and you have to say, like, I believe in George when you are there in the morning, and then you're supposed to have a better day on the ride, and the ride won't break down as much. And I guess same for like the guests. So if you go and you say, I don't believe in George, you're going to have a bad ride experience. So far as we know, nobody said it in our group, but it was the entire Spooky Explorers Club took up one boat. It was great. And we're crossing under the bridge to go into the fire room. We're not even fully into the fire room yet, and the ride stops. It goes down. And we're sitting there for a few minutes, and we're like, oh, spooky. And they come on, and they're like, we're going to be powering down the ride. And we're like, powering down the ride? Like, I've never heard them say that. And I was like, that's weird. So I thought, like, all full lights on, animatronics off. Like, I thought that's what powering down the ride was. But I guess what it means is they power down the ride mechanism. because it's like bubblers that are pushing you through. So they turn that off. So then all of a sudden our boats are all going backwards through the ride. So we went backwards all the way through another room. And we were stuck on it for like 10, 15 minutes. And then they fixed whatever it was, and then they powered back up. They said they were powering it back up, and then we went through again, and we got stuck in the exact same spot. It was very creepy. For us to have just talked about it, I don't know if we like invoked something or what, but it was creepy. There was also another story, quickly, about a cast member that had been working like late one night, like when there's not that many people going through and you can kind of just like get right on the ride. It was this older woman that was crying, gets to the front of the line, and she was like, "I'd like a boat to myself." And they're like, okay. And so they gave it to her, and it was like boat 24.
Why would they just like someone come in crying, "I need a boat to myself"? All right, here's a boat to yourself.
Do you want to deal with that? If there's like a crying, you're gonna be like, whatever, you just please go.
I
right?
Guess,
like, what would you do? Aaron said, he was like, I get it. Like, sometimes you want a boat to like, he's like, I've done
it.
Where you ask, I get it.
I want a boat to myself.
No, where you like asked for a boat to yourself so you can like have the fun, like ride photo of you by yourself or whatever. But I guess she was like upset and gets on the boat. And as she's getting on the boat, she says something about like, I miss my George. Gets on, they load her on boat 24, goes through the ride. The cast member was like, hey, check on that lady. Cause like she was visibly upset, and boat 24 like gets to the exit of the ride, and they're like, there's nobody on this boat. So the lady got on the boat, got on the ride.
She's there.
There was no
she's
lady.
She's
reunited with George, apparently.
Yeah.
So all of that, and then we got stuck in that room for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's
a little spooky.
That's not spooky to me. That's more of just like an old ride. You got stuck.
I mean,
I think more you creeped out by it with the stories.
I had a good time. So that was Spooky Explorers Club. And then we had like a bridge week where we ended up like working remote and then doing the parks in the evening, which was really nice because then I love doing the parks in the evening.
Well, okay, so then it kind of leads into us trying out Multipass. And
you'll never get that name right.
Yeah. Well, I don't have to now.
You do. It's still in effect.
But we tried out the Multipass, and we really just tried it out to try it out. Because I am not, just like the Halloween parties, you're going to be hard pressed to try to get me to go to them because I don't see a value in it.
Yeah.
But the Multipass, I was just like I'm not crazy about it. And we've done VIP tours, and I've been to the parks different times. So it's just like I've done the rides. I'm not like clamoring to do them.
Right.
So it's like I don't need to do every ride every time we go.
Yeah.
And that's what it kind of felt like. You have to feel like you use the Multipass, and you're just using it for like the small rides.
I feel like it's like,
and then since we did it on a party day, it wasn't useful.
Really bad planning on my part.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, it's just like we were trying it out. Like it worked, but it's not like it wasn't a big benefit.
It wasn't a big benefit. It was a party day. It was already a low crowd. We did not rope drop, and so we were just using it for the sake of using it. It's almost like getting an annual pass, whether it's here or your museum or your zoo or whatever, and you're like, well, I've spent the money, now I have to go.
Yeah.
And then you go and you spend more money because you're like, well, I'm here. Let me get a snack. Let me get this. Let me get that. Sala says, I do 5 rides a park. The rest of the time is soaking in the environment. Yeah, and that's typically what we do. Is sometimes we do 5 rides. Sometimes we do 1 ride.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do no rides.
Yeah.
The way that we do the parks has continues to evolve, because before, remember the very first trip we went, I had like a minute by minute itinerary, and you think I'm joking, but no.
Yeah.
I straight up had, here's what our full day is going to look like. Here's the time that it takes to walk between the attractions. I used a program to do it. But we were serious because we're like, this is the first and probably only time, or only time in 5 years that we're going to go to Disney. So we want to get the most out of it. And I think that's where Multipass comes in, is if you're really focused on rides, because that's what people think.
And again,
it's
if you're focused.
Are.
Yeah. But there's so many variables, because if you have little ones that can't ride all the rides, so it's they're, It's already like half out the window.
Or they don't want to ride rides, right? So like we could have gotten on Space Mountain, and I'm like, I don't want to break my back today. Like, I'm good. Our oldest would probably ride it, but like our youngest one doesn't. I'm ambivalent to it. Like, if everyone else is going, I'll go ride it. But like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I think I've only ridden that ride like once, maybe twice in my life. I'm good. But yeah, it was. But it's a good option.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a good option.
It's a decent option.
So we did the multi-pass. We didn't maximize it because it was a party day. We had gone to Magic Kingdom. We used it for maybe like 6, maybe 7 rides, but they were very easy rides. It was, like I said, it was low crowd. There were low wait times.
We were getting on at the same time as standby.
Yeah, it was a complete waste to do it that day. But I'm glad that we got to do it because I've had clients come to me and they're like, how does this work? And I'm like, okay, well, now I was like, I have to test this to see how it works. And it's very similar to the old Lightning Lane. It's just you pay for it now, and so you feel worse about it.
Yeah.
Ultimately. But yeah, then we ended up hopping over to Epcot to go hang out with a friend, and
didn't use any of them.
And then we never went to a ride there.
Yeah.
In Epcot. See, we went to Epcot.
Well, again, because like when you start going to the other parks, like Magic Kingdom, like it's probably the most useful.
Yeah.
But when you go to like Epcot, there's not too many available rides to do it.
And I will only buy multi-pass if we have a full day at the parks and we're starting at Magic Kingdom. Like, those are my 2 stipulations.
Yeah.
If we're starting at Animal Kingdom, forget it. I will not buy it. There's 2 rides maybe that we would use it on.
Because you can't get that single line.
Yeah. So it's like, So, and then Hollywood Studios, there's good rides there, but again, like, our kids aren't going to go do Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
You know, our little one doesn't like Slinky Dog. Like, it's just not worth it for us to get it. So,
yeah, and especially since you can't do it multiple times.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But then we had a conversation. So we like, you know what? We need to talk about it. But it didn't feel fully fleshed out. Like, we predicted the future. And we're like, well, you think there's, I remember at the end of the episode, you're like, I think there's changes coming. And sure enough, Disney says, we're going to do Premier Pass.
The episode dropped last Thursday. Less than a week later, they have announced Premier Pass.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. We're up on it. We're on it.
Because we're talking about how, in my opinion, that what they have at Universal is a really good solution.
But see, I was talking about the same thing. That price is kind of steep.
The price is steep. And so
the whole thing, okay, so let's kind of talk about Premier Pass. It's all the rides, all the lightning.
Every ride that has a lightning lane, every attraction that has
even
a
the top tier one.
Even the top tier.
You could go anytime once.
One time per ride, which is just how multi-pass works now. If you get Tower of Terror,
no, but you still have to get the single lightning lane.
Yeah.
Those single lightning lanes are included in that Premier Pass.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you buy multi-pass, you can't use multi-pass and go ride Tower of Terror 5 times. You can only ride it once. Same with Premier Pass. There is no, unless you're doing a VIP
it's
tour.
I think now it's more comparison to the Express Pass from Universal.
Kind of. The regular Express Pass.
Yeah, regular.
Because there's Express Pass and there's Express Unlimited. Throw that one out the window.
Not that one.
Yeah. So it's just like the Express Pass at Universal, except it's more expensive. And they don't have a park-to-park option.
I think they are testing it out.
They said straight up they're piloting it.
They're doing the one park. If people are buying it up, there's no point in them doing it from park to park.
And
I'm sorry to tell you, they're gonna be making money, and if everybody keeps buying it, like if you don't want them to do that, you want them to make it better for people or for everybody, then don't buy it.
Yeah.
But if people are gonna buy it up, I guarantee it. Like I've seen clips of people. It's like that medium between a VIP and multi-pass. Yeah. Like this is that. Like if you don't go that often and you're like, you know what, I want to go ride all the rides. Boom, add that to the ticket, and you could do everything. Do all the rides in that park.
Yep.
Make it easy. Now, I think it's interesting because before you would get park tickets, typically like park hoppers. This is going to eliminate that. So they're going to remove the park hopper to get that. So how is that price negated?
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's going to be more expensive to add Premier Pass than it would be to go
No,
from
but
a
how
single
much
park
is
to a park hopper.
what's a single pass to a park hopper though?
Depends on the park and depends on the day, but maybe not quite double. So maybe like say $80 to $100.
So $80 to $100 that you're taking from
A park
that
hopper
to Premier Pass.
But it's for the certain type of.
And then
of
also
guests.
that 80 to 100 plus the 20 to 25 that you would have been paying for multipass anyways.
Yeah.
So like start doing that math and you're kind of like, well, you were probably paying that anyways.
Yeah, maybe save the single pass.
The single lightning lanes, those 2 single lightning lanes. That's another $20 each.
Could you imagine paying $125 and be forced to spend all day at Animal Kingdom to ride all the rides there? Especially when they're probably about to take out Dino Land. I'm hearing Dino Land's going away in like January.
Magic Kingdom, maybe Hollywood are the only two that I would even think people are getting it for.
Hollywood, yes, because there are elite rides at Hollywood Studios.
But that's it.
Epcot.
But that's it. The next, I know they're gonna whoever does the videos, they're gonna do the challenge of no pass, multi-pass, and Premier Pass.
Yeah.
And see what all you're gonna do is be able to accomplish those rides in a shorter amount of time.
But it's how much is your time valued at?
Again, that's where, because you could do pretty much all those rides in a day with just standby. You could do a lot of them.
You can do a lot of them if depending on what day.
Depending on the day and stuff like that.
Whatever. Let's do some questions. Jeffrey says, "Isn't the Premier Pass limited to DVC and Deluxe Resort guests?" I believe it's limited to just to Deluxe Resort guests at the beginning during this first pilot. And I really do appreciate that they're calling it a pilot.
Yeah.
Because they know that they're going to have to change it.
Yeah, it's going to change.
But they never do that. They never say that. Like, remember when the CSL photo experience was the portrait experience, $99, and then it jumps up to $399, and they're like, that was an introductory price. They're you didn't tell us that was introductory until you quadrupled the price. Nate says, so which is better, Premier Pass or VIP? It depends on what you want. So a VIP tour at a minimum is $450 for 7 hours. So I am under pressure right now, so I cannot do that math in my head. So 7 hours times $450, plus you also have to tip on top of that. But without tip is a little over $3,000, $3,150.
Some of the things that you get there that you don't get with this Premier Pass, Multi-Pass is
park hopping.
Snacks or park hopping, but you have to have park hopping.
You have to buy the ticket for park hopping.
So again, yes it is and yes or no. Like you pay for it.
Fair.
So that's not part of it. Snacks, there's some snacks included.
You get a pin with VIP on it. You do get a pin.
The food,
food's not included.
If you choose to do a sit down, that's included.
No.
No.
That was separate.
Okay.
You have to pay for the food.
Okay.
You pay for all food. You get snacks and you get like drinks, like soda and water, and that's pretty much it. And you get a pin that says VIP on it.
But you also get that if you wanted the fireworks.
You get VIP viewing area for the fireworks, which is like really nice. And you get VIP for parade. And then I think it's for the parade. But I know if you're doing it for like a Halloween party or a Christmas party, you get VIP for the parade and the fireworks, like viewing area. But I think where the VIP comes in is, one, you get a guide that's taking you around the park and they're helping you to maximize your time or whatever it is that you want. If you tell them like, hey, I want to walk less. If you say, I want to ride all the rides, I want to do the 4 parks, I want to just have like a super chill day in one of the parks, you get that. And they sprinkle in like, oh, well, did you know this about this? And they give you history and tips and all these fun things, right? So there's a personal touch to it that I don't know that you can put a price on.
Yeah.
But if you are park hopping, you do get transportation and they take you backstage. Like you're not having to go out the front of the park to the parking lot and then go to the next part.
But again, I think the benefit is if you're wanting to do multiple parks.
If you're
like if you want to just do Rise and Smugglers and then jet and go to the Flight of Passage type of thing, like it'll help you there.
Yeah.
Whereas the Premier Pass is just going to be just Hollywood Studios, so you could do all of Hollywood Studios.
All of Hollywood Studios. The other thing is, some on a VIP tour, some of them you do get to cut even in front of like the lightning lane.
Some of them.
Not many.
Not many.
Not many, like at all.
Not as much as you think.
No, yeah, really not. But I mean, it's cool too. There's style points that go with a VIP tour and getting to walk around with like a plaid vest. But honestly, if I was gonna do, I don't know. I love the expertise that like the VIP tour guides provide, and it's fun. And the other thing is, if depending on the tour guide, if you have a little one that's too young to ride or doesn't want to ride, the VIP guide will stay with them while the rest of the family rides.
That's very dependent, though.
It's very guide specific. It's very child specific. Yeah. And it just depends.
Yeah.
Or if you have like grandma or something that doesn't want to ride, like I feel like you have more flexibility with a VIP tour than you do with a Premier Pass. Because you're not going to be able to.
Well, because it's like an extra person.
Like,
in your group.
Is rider swap going to work with Premier Pass? I guess the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
You have to do rider swap, but then they just like fast pass you or whatever. Yeah. There are a few books.
So right now, Nate, just to answer your question, I'm still standing that if you don't go to the parks that often, like again, I'm using the example like us going to Tokyo. I would say we would get the Premier Pass if they had it.
And they have something like that.
So it's like that for that situation, yes, because we haven't been there before, and I don't know when the next time I'm gonna go. I'm gonna put that extra money.
Yeah, yeah. And
just because I want to be able to do what all that's possible.
And I think that's what it's good for. I think it's for those once in a lifetime or once in a long time trips where you want to, if your thing is to do rides and maybe you don't want to spend the money on a VIP tour, but you understand the limitations of a multi-pass and like it gives you more freedom. You just walk up to a ride and say, okay, I'm going to ride this now.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's really great. Marissa asks, how will the lines work if you get the Premier Pass? Will you just be grouped into line with the lightning lanes? Yeah. So instead of having a lightning lane return time like you would have with the multi-pass, you just go up to any lightning lane and scan your magic band or your card or whatever, and then you go in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious to see how it works. I think we're not going to be able to see the true popularity of it at the beginning because there are going to be a lot of content creators and media and travel agents and people that need to test these things to see, is this worth?
I think if you could get past that cost, it's going to work. Like people are going to enjoy it more than the because you're not going to be checking your phones. You're like, I paid for it. I get in line and I go.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be, is it worth it? Do I get to do all the rides where I feel it's worth it?
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's going to feel like, is it worth it or not? It's going to work. Like it's just jumping in the lightning lane.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. And then too, I think the multi-pass is probably going to feel that hit more. Like if they see that there's more people getting Premier Pass, you're probably going to have limited times for the multi-pass stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Hey, Dads Love Disney. What's up in here? He says, I know the VIP tour depends on how many people ride, so the per person cost breakdown will be interesting depending on on-demand based pricing. Yeah, so we did that in our last episode. Is like the cheapest that you can get, because we were comparing Universal's Express Pass to a VIP tour, and the cheapest it could be was I think $350 a person, because you can have up to 10 people, minimum of 7 hours, and it's $450.
But the thing you have to
Oh,
remember
it's
too,
$315.
again, it's the mechanics of it. When you have 10 people, you have 10, sometimes 10 directions people want to go. And that could slow you down because you're on a time limit. You're like, not with Premier Pass, you got all day.
Yeah.
You got all day to do whatever you want to do. So you could rope drop, go whatever rides. But with a VIP tour, it's only 7 hours. And so if you're trying to do multiple parks, your time limit, because people got to be you got to be moving. You got to be moving. So it's like, that's something to consider, because like we've done it, and the max of rides that we've done is 12 rides. Yeah. All 4 parks, 12 rides.
Yep.
And there's kind of that feeling like, I wonder how many rides total, if we would have stayed at one park, could we have done?
Could we have done it all? Yeah.
Because there's driving back and forth and up and down and, getting in and stuff like that. So,
Yep.
Like right now, I would almost see it more beneficial than like the VIP tour. Again, it's more of like that. You're going with a bigger group, and that's going to be where that's going to come in handy.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be worrying about all the rides. You're just riding as much as you can.
Right.
But and then getting in the fireworks. I think that's the biggest, like I would always recommend is like, if you do it to back up to fireworks, because like that's the best spot, because it's like
if you have anxiety,
it's
with,
like the dinner
crowds,
or it's like the
dinner party, the dessert party,
the dessert party. So it's like that. So it's like you get backed up into that and you get to see the fireworks. So like that would be
which it's a different viewing area. So like the dessert party is on the right side of the hub, and then the VIP in Club 33 is on the left side, which is like your hub grass.
Yeah.
That they claimed for themselves.
I know.
That was like the place to watch fireworks before they.
It still is the place.
It is the place. Yeah. It's just now there's a price to enter.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, is like you have to have that, like, everybody at the same pace type of thing.
Well, I mean, we talked about it when we did the VIP tour before, is we just had like a big group of people, and like we all walk at different paces. We have a stroller. Like there's people that don't want to ride certain rides, or like our kids can't ride certain rides. And so it was just like, you got to just take it with a grain of salt of like what you can and can't do in a day. And I think that's what's really hard with these things, is like, if you're paying for a VIP tour, that's a huge cost. You're not going to pay for a VIP tour every time you go to Disney.
Yeah.
More than likely. And so you want to feel like you're getting your money. 10 bladders to worry about. Yeah, there were lots of potty breaks.
And especially like if you go, like 3 or 4 people go one, you go to a ride and then you're like, all right, here's another 3. Like, it's not everybody goes at one time type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we got to eat and get snacks, and it's hurting cats.
Yeah. So Nate says, didn't they say the price will drop in 2025 too? I also wonder if they'll eventually offer to non-resort guests, since that could be a large cost on.
I don't see.
So,
I think it's an incentive.
No, they will. At Disneyland they are, and I think they've said that they're not.
But it's like $400 at Disneyland.
But it's also both parks. You can hop.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's just because there's the proximity. Like they're kind of like, you're here. So
it's one big park anyway. Just go.
So I was like, let's just jack up the price. $400, you could do it.
Yeah, I think they said that it was going to be. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they said $400 at Disneyland in 2024, and in 2025 it was going to go from $300 to $400, like variable pricing. You know what stinks though is that it's going to be like the multi-pass. It's a lot higher. I don't think I've told you. It's a lot higher price point. We used to be able to sell Genie Plus when it first came out, and we would get commission on it. This is much higher. We don't get commission on this.
Yeah.
We get commission on like express passes over Universal.
I have a feeling that this is going to sell fine.
Yeah, it's going to do well.
And it's just, instead of it being part of the ticket, this is the nickel and diming. Like, people are just going to get it because it's like, I don't come that often. I'm going to get it. Especially Disney World. Disneyland, I don't know, because again, that's
So
always
many local.
synonymous for being the local park.
They're not even offering it to like a special incentive for resort guests only.
Yeah, because again, it's
'Cause
more
they
locals
know.
there.
Yeah.
It's more locals there. Disney World, they know these are people that come from all over. They come, that's why there's always this delay in things changing, because they have to have it there long enough for people to go and partake.
Yeah.
That's our complaint with Galaxy's Edge and all the new merch and whatnot.
Yep.
So this is where you're gonna see it make Disney money.
Yeah. And it will make money. But there's been a lot of, I think the initial reactions were a lot of complaints, frustration.
Oh, okay. So
with it being for the rich, right?
Yeah.
For the people, like that they're pricing out the typical park goer. And I do not agree with that at all. I think it's unfortunate that it's not better priced, but if it were better priced, just like Star Cruiser, if it were better priced, more people will be doing it, and then it negates the benefits of doing it. They have to have it at a high price point, just like Universal has to price it out as high as they do. Now, what I think they should do is they should include a limited amount of these Premier Pass rides for deluxe resort guests. Say you get 5 Premier Passes a day, and you could go boop into any 5 rides you want.
I think we would see that, just like back when they had all these incentives for going to the resorts. You get a free Magic Band, you get 90 days for Fast Pass, like all the basically
Magical Express.
Here's that first hit to get you there.
Yeah.
Right now, they're not at that point.
No.
They are.
They're piloting it.
They're if I'm thinking in my head, if you've played Roller Coaster Tycoon, like this is the point where they're like getting that price up to see, like they need to, not at capacity, but they got to make sure that they're making enough money off of the people that are there.
Yeah.
And until people stop paying, they're still good.
Right.
They're nudging all these things up. They're cranking up all the little, shops and everything.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just like it's simple to do, or it's just like obvious to me.
But I have clients that used to get the VIP tour every time, and that hourly rate bumps up and further up and up and up and up to the point where this last trip that one of my clients in particular went on, she was like, "Hey, can you find out how much it is?" I called in, I told her, and she's like, "I said it last time, like it's just getting too expensive." She's like, "This time I'm not going to do it." She would 100% buy this.
Yeah.
Because that's, say at the worst at Disney World, it's $350 versus spending $6,000 on a VIP tour.
Because I guarantee that if Universal had their hotels at capacity a majority of the time, you would see that benefit go away.
Yeah.
You would see that if they had enough people staying at the resorts, they were staying at, I'm assuming 80%.
Yeah.
They would say, you know what, we don't need to be including this because people are getting a room to get the express pass, or their economics. Again, I don't know.
We know their economics, but we also do know that there's only 3 premier resorts at Universal. I think there's 11 now resorts at Universal, or maybe soon to be 11 with the 3 that they're adding next year with the coming of Epic. But there's only 3 premier resorts, so there is a much lower capacity for deluxe resort or premier resort guests at Universal, whereas almost a majority, I think, of the resorts that Disney have are classified as deluxe. So they can't offer carte blanche, here's Premier Pass for everybody for every day of your stay, like Universal does, because they're just not set up that way. Now, I think if you could do it in a way that's like you get 5 free passes a day to go ride whatever ride you want, give them a taste of what that's like. Oh.
Well, okay, so Therese says, I love Universal's AP, included Express Pass after 4 p.m. But they close at 5? At 6?
I think 7's the latest they stay open.
So it's like you're giving 3 hours, and not to be like the comparison of Universal and Disney, but is Universal constantly crowded like Disney.
Yeah. To be
Again,
fair,
that's what we're saying. Like
Universal has to offer those benefits
Disney
to get
is
people
filled. Disney is filled always. Yes, there's those days that oh great, like there's 5-minute waits and stuff like that. Even at the end of the day, there's you could get on Smugglers in 5-10 minutes. But
it's 9 or 10 o'clock a lot of the time. Oh, that's good. I feel like every time I go, the
it's always
park
closed.
closes at like 6. I'm like, I just got here.
but I think that's the thing though, is like they want you to go. Like, they're still wanting. Now I think Epic's gonna be a disruptor. I think that one's gonna be new, shiny, all the new cool things. Like, I'm excited to see what that does to Disney's pockets. But again, if Disney's aware of it, they're already thinking like, okay, what can we do?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do to
Villains Land?
And then you're gonna see, Magic Kingdom full.
But I think it's good. I think having this competition between the two theme parks, it's good for both sides, and it's good for the guests because
Dawn, it's about surplus. Exactly.
I had to teach her what a deficit was. Dawn's trying to teach our children all about economics and financial literacy in the world. But it's good. It's healthy, and it benefits the guests for Universal to do stuff and then Disney to do stuff to compete, right?
Yeah.
Because they've done Express Pass and Disney did Multipass, and it's been met with mixed reviews. People still buy it, but it very rarely sells out. Now they're doing this Premier Pass, which they do Premier Pass at other theme parks around the world.
Okay, so my question right now is Hollywood or what is it? Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes.
If we were to get the Express Pass, how much would it cost?
I don't know. I never sell the Express Pass because I'm usually selling like the RIP tour. Like, if people are going, they want the RIP tour.
Okay, but that's my question. Is like, now I've gone 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
One day to Universal. I don't want to buy annual pass. I buy the one ticket for the party.
Yeah.
But it's almost obvious that I need to get
You need to splurge, but that's because you only go once a year. And you're just going for that event specifically. Yeah. So you're like, I want to get my money's worth out of it. So
it's like that one, I've like, okay. But then I'm like, how much is it going to cost me to go that one day?
Well, so it is what this whole Premier Pass thing is, your philosophy on the theme parks ever since the beginning. Like, you have, Sunfield, they have a lightning lane, a fast pass, a whatever you want to call this lane that you have to like buy or reserve access for, right? And then what's the other lane called?
Standby.
And what's the definition of standby?
Yeah, you're waiting for
You're waiting for these people to go. You are the backup. You're not the main line. It's not that this is the main line and these people are going through. They've always intended for it to be, this is the main line. This is what people are paying for. This is what people are reserving. And you're just getting slotted in as you can.
Yeah.
And you see that when it comes to the point where the lightning lane and the standby lane merge.
That
and you're
part where you're stopped,
there,
you're like, wait, and then everybody gets to go. You're like,
20 people go, and you're like, why didn't I splurge for a multi-pass? But listen, are we thrilled about it? No. Are we going to test it out? I don't know. If we were not, and here's the gross part, if we were not content creators, I don't think we would ever consider it.
No.
I don't want to spend the money on it because, like we've said, the way we do the parks now is not to ride all the rides.
Yeah.
So for us, it's not.
It would be literally trying it to test it out.
Yeah. It's a write-off.
Yeah. It's a write-off.
It's a write-off.
But yes, I kind of alluded to it. I went to Halloween Horror Nights.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I got to do.
Tell me all about it, because you didn't really
half of the houses. I'm not. If I get scared, it's like watch out, because I'm a fighter.
Punch, yes.
Yeah. And that's my natural reaction. But to actually be scared, it's hard to get there.
But you're already The only way that you can get scared is if you don't see it coming. And so if you're going to an event called Halloween Horror Nights,
I know it's coming.
You know it's coming.
Yeah.
And you know when you're going through those houses, like there's a corner, there's a scare.
Yeah.
There's
There was a couple times that it was like scare, like there was like multiple. So if it got you a little jump. But the thing is again, they're just lining people through. So like the group in front of us is getting the scare and they're resetting like when I'm there.
Yeah.
And then Naomi's behind me. So they may get her. But
did she get scared?
No. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Like it wasn't like a
for context. So for context, it was our family and the Sunfields, and like Naomi was the one that was like, I want to go to Halloween Horror Nights, and you're like, I'll go.
Well, no, it's because we went the year before.
Yeah, you went before together, and so you guys like went again, and then we were lame and ate ice cream instead, which I had a great time. I had a tummy ache, but I had a great time. But yeah, I mean, you were there for most of the Naomi's on here. But you guys were there. Y'all stayed, I think.
Yeah, we went from like the very beginning to. Oh, I mean, because like at the end is when you're really able to like get through them. Yeah.
Just like any theme park, right? Like people
like,
don't
get in, you could get in the line right before.
Because it's open until like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
That's late.
Yeah, it was really late.
Really late. I was very much asleep when you came in.
So that I think the coolest part is the Nightmare Fuel, like the show.
That show is so good.
But they, I think we were talking to Ben, like that's all they use it for. That's all they use that stage for. So like, there's nothing else that happens there.
No, I thought there was something that happened there.
I don't think there is.
Oh, I guess he would know more than us. Yeah. Just do Nightmare Fuel all year long because that show is amazing.
Well, and then they were saying that makes like a majority of their profits for the year is Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, I bet because people are buying alcohol to sit there and watch this 20-minute show.
Well, no, I mean, not just like that, but just like all the houses and like during Halloween season is like
that's their bread and butter. But think about it. People are buying drinks
again,
to go enjoy that.
That's their bread and butter when there are theme parks that are there all year.
Oh, that Halloween Horror Nights
I'm just saying in general.
Not Nightmare Fuel specifically. Yeah. Gotcha.
So it's like, again, that's telling of they need people there.
Oh, it used to be Fear Factor. Okay. I was like, I know that there was something there. I didn't realize it wasn't there anymore. Oh, y'all had a bad spot for scares.
Yeah, it was just like they were resetting.
I went last year, and it was I had Therese with me, and Therese was in front of me, and so we all went single file, and like I had my hands on Therese's shoulders, and she would like lean her head this way, but I couldn't tell if like she was telling me go this way because there's somebody scaring you on the right, or like the scare is coming from the left, so like don't like watch out over here. I couldn't tell, like we didn't communicate very well, so I just got scared a whole bunch. So when you guys were planning to go this year, I was like, I'll stay with the kids. I'm good.
No, it was good. It was I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Good.
But then after that, we got to go enjoy HouseCon, like because we didn't have any. Nice. No work for that one. We got to just go enjoy it. So like, got to go see the Star Cruiser peeps.
That was also a missed opportunity though, because we could have had Team Scream and Team Ice Cream, Team We Scream and Team Ice Cream. Dang it, Justin, who put you in charge of social media that night? Y'all got lucky too because it didn't rain.
Yeah,
at Universal,
it was good.
It poured.
That was so weird. That was very weird.
We actually had a terrible evening
because like when we went, it was sprinkling. So I was like, oh, let me take the umbrella. And you're like, are you sure you're gonna be carrying? I was like, yeah, it's fine, like whatever. And so I carried the umbrella with me the entire night, and thinking it was like it might rain because it sprinkled earlier in the night.
Well, and it was sprinkling when we dropped y'all off.
Yeah, but that was it.
Yeah.
The rest of the night was fine. As soon as we were taking the lift home or back to the hotel, we hit like this underpass, and it was just like coming down where like the wipers were on full blast, and we were like, "Holy crap! Has it been raining like this all night?"
Yes, the answer is yes.
It was like scary. I was like, "Oh man, hopefully we make it back," because it was just like dark and stormy night type of thing.
So we did rent a car when we went because we were there for a while, and so we wanted the freedom to like go get groceries and go eat off property and whatever. And so we dropped you and Naomi there, and you do most of the driving when we're on vacation. Like I don't like driving, period. And so we dropped you off, and so then I was driving. I am a princess sometimes.
Yeah, I appreciate that, John.
But I had to drive, and we're dropping you off, and it's sprinkling. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then we wanted to go to Beaches and Cream at Beach Club at Disney to go eat ice cream there. And we're going, and it's just like storming, and we're like, oh. So we try to go to Beach Club. They won't let us park there. They're like, sorry, parking lot's full. You can't go here. It's like, okay. So then we try to go to Caribbean Beach, but if you put in Caribbean Beach, it takes you to Riviera because Riviera
hates you going,
and they don't want you going in there.
Don't even look at them.
So then I had to like turn around. It's like pouring the whole time. We finally get to Caribbean Beach, and then we take the Skyline over to Beach Club, and it's just like we got there in the Skyliner. As we're getting off the Skyliner, just the skies open up, and it's just like cats and dogs. And so it was, when we left, it was still pouring. I was like, can we just get a lift back, please? I was like, I don't want to do this. Because Skyliner will close, too, if it's, like, lightning.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I do not want to get stuck on the Skyliner. So we had an adventure of our own.
That's good.
Yeah, it was fine. Not as exciting as, like, Halloween Horror Nights, but an adventure nonetheless.
Yeah.
But, yeah, then we did HouseCon.
Yeah.
And it was nice. It was so nice to be around, like, the Star Cruiser community again, and get the same vibes of just like hanging out with everybody.
It did have that feeling of just kind of like go to your room, get changed, have a drink, and then go hang out with everybody, go watch a panel.
We never get to stay at like the con hotel, because like San Diego Comic-Con, like, and most of the cons we go to are like way bigger, and so we don't get to be at the hotel that the con is at, or like one that's close or like attached to it. And so this was a treat to just be able to be like, oh, I'm gonna just go up real quick.
Yeah, and it's like right there.
Yeah, that was wonderful. So we did that, and that was again like a 2.5 day event, but it was nice. It was nice to just see everybody and just relax.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely like that. Nice end to the weekend or to the week.
Yeah.
So, and I think they announced next year
they're going to do another one. 2 buoy.
I don't want to like.
No, they put a YouTube
okay,
video.
that's what I'm saying. I think they did.
Yeah. Nate, did you find any hidden porgs at HouseCon? We did not.
I think the little one did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. We also like
because it was the little orange ones, the 3D printed ones.
Oh, but people were giving stuff. I think people gave. I don't know. There was so much beautiful like generosity of everybody there that had things to give, and so I like to decorate my lanyard, and so I was like, the thing was heavy.
I was calling it a mum, so
it felt like a mum. Like people were doing like badge ribbons, and then giving like little charms and pins and all these kinds of things, and so it was just like we got to load up, and I'm glad I brought a big purse because it was.
But it did. So they had panels. They had the panels in the morning, which was really cool. Like I got to go to a couple of those, and again, it's just kind of having same but different conversations with the people that you either went on a cruise with or didn't necessarily have cruise with them, but you're able to like connect on these similar things. So that was cool. But then each of the evenings, it was just like hangout time, and it got me so. And I don't remember who I was telling, but it got me so excited for Good Journey, because like now that we have a space, like we're gonna have just those opportunities, just being able to just hang out.
Yeah.
And we have our space that just to do that. So I'm pumped.
Yeah. No, I am too. I'm looking forward to the cruise. Because I mean that's basically a con, a hotel and a con in one, right?
There's no panel, but
there's no panels, but we have events that we're gonna do, and there's gonna be swag swaps, and there's gonna be similar things. I think that was nice too about being at the hotels. You could go like to panels, and then I would watch the kids because the kids don't have the patience to sit there for an hour.
Yeah.
Room 619, the moistest of rooms. Our room was very humid. I don't know if like the humidity from Texas like followed us to the room or what. But yeah, that was
exactly
the party pad. It was good times. It was a lot of there was large parties in a small room.
I think there was a lot of large parties in small rooms, though.
I think so. Like there were some that had they came to party, like they brought lights and stuff too. I was like, oh, and they had like a sign outside the door and everything, and like drinks in there. There was one guy that had like a mini gonk droid that had like it dispensed
shots
with like full cocktails, 15 pizzas. Yeah, there was. Oh God, our room smelled like pizza. And
it's a party weekend, man.
We had the designated party room for the weekend. We had lots of. They even like housekeeping brought us like the biggest trash bag that we've ever seen because they were like, you guys
clean up after yourselves.
Clean up after yourselves. We're not doing this for you. MVP Kenny. So if you're ever in Orlando, they have a hibachi place called Kobe.
I'm trying to think of where it is exactly.
Ours was not. It wasn't the one that was super close to where HouseCon was. It was like 3 miles down the road. I don't know, south of Disney. But yeah, we had Kenny for our.
He was good.
Our chef.
And again, I think it's just he vibed off of us.
Vibed off our group, but it was great. But even our server as well, like she was amazing. Like everybody was great. It was HouseCon is Martin and Christine did a fantastic job.
It was good.
That was fun. We should just have like that's what
just
we should do in our house. Yeah, right here. HouseCon was amazing. Martin and Christine did a great job of putting that on and amassing a team that could handle all of the different components of putting on an event like that because it was a large event. They went all out. They did some really above and beyond things for the guests, which was fun. There were fun surprises everywhere. There were amazing like photo backdrops. Like there was great entertainment. Like everything about it. Like we throw events. We know how difficult it feels is to put on an event and like the things that you don't see that like you don't want the attendees to see. And so getting to be an attendee at an event like this and seeing from our side that everything went smoothly, I'm like, that's a job well done.
Yeah.
But that aside, yes, the event was amazing, but getting to connect with like our space family or so many of our space family. There was a lot of people obviously that we didn't get to see, but it was just a sleepover.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that
we didn't actually. Nobody else slept in our room.
but no, it was like, again, it was
like camp.
It was weird because there was like conversations that I would have with people that I've had conversations with like online, and I knew them, but I had never really like spoken to them in real life.
Right.
So it was like actually talking to the real person of them.
Well, and then getting just to meet new people that we had never connected with at all.
Yeah.
And just like we connected over that weekend was nice too. It was just wonderful. It really did feel like a summer camp. It was like being on Star Cruiser, but it was much bigger because there was a lot more people there. And you got to see everybody shine in their own way too. So like the vendors, they got to shine with like what they did really well, the entertainment, the panels, where people were speaking at them, just people passing out swag. Like it was just a beautiful way for people to share what they're passionate about or what they're good at.
Yeah.
And that was nice. And then there was programming built into it. And so it was so well done. And I'm so glad that they did that because like that's why we're doing a Good Journey cruise where we're just going on a cruise ship. Entertainment's all there. We're just going to organize like a few times where everybody can hang out and like come together and do things together as one. But we're not putting on like a big convention. Like they've got a lock on that. Like please do that for us so we can go and like
enjoy it.
And we'll just go have like a summer camp at sea and just chill out and be on a real cruise. I'm so excited for the Good Journey cruise, man.
Galen said, but aren't you limited on luggage you can bring? How does everyone bring all the extras?
I don't know. I don't know if people were like shipping stuff or what, but.
Well, I mean, like HouseCon?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Like the stuff people brought were small.
They were local, yeah. Yeah, there was
like
nothing like
small stuff.
I mean, there was some of the vendors that had like bigger things, but again, I think like a carry-on type of thing.
But I think when you're a vendor, like you have to figure out like shipping things and freight.
Oh, I think there was somebody shipping stuff too. Like if you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think. I don't know.
I just showed up. It was great.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, we are in like. Now that the events that we like Spooky Explorers Club is behind us, which that was a lot of coordination and a lot of work that we had to do. HouseCon, thankfully, like we just showed up, which was nice. But then now we're like, okay, now we got to focus on Good Journey. We got to get all
Good
that stuff
Journey
ready.
And then Tokyo. I think those are the big things
Cool.
that we got to like start figuring out.
Yeah.
So
Tokyo scares me. It's just so
I'm
much.
right now, guys. I am on the side of BS that Tokyo is cheap. Like there's like it so far it does not seem cheap to me.
No.
So
no, absolutely not. Like I had a consult.
And then I think the other part is like for me, I'm excited to go, right? I'm excited to go, but the idea of anxious traveling strikes because you feel anxious about translating things, like when you're trying to book stuff or look things up.
Yeah,
it's the translate. So it's like
when I was telling you
the
that
fact
story,
that you
I
aren't,
was like,
the fact that you aren't confident starts to like rub off on me, and I'm like, oh man, like
as I was telling you my story earlier, I was like, this is not helpful for either of us. Sarah, did you order my post-it notes for all the schedule planning? So we're not crazy. Like we are not building out like a super intense itinerary. What we did and what our let me explain to you our planning process.
I agree, Jeffrey.
We had been watching YouTube videos of different families and people that have gone to Tokyo or Osaka or Kyoto or anywhere in Japan to figure out what it is that we wanted to do, where we wanted to go. And so as we're watching these videos, we would take Post-its, and they used to be color coordinated by family member of like, here are the things that each family member wants to do. So that way we make sure that we're doing something for everybody. Then we threw that out the window when we started this last iteration of the plan. But
because certain ones are travel, certain ones are things.
Certain ones are like
hotel
must-dos or hotel check-ins. But yeah, so then our next iteration of that was we printed out a daily schedule, hour by hour, for each day that we're planning to be there. And then that way we could say like, okay, well, we're leaving on, say if we leave on a Monday, but because of the time change, we don't actually get there until Tuesday. And so then, so now we know we need a hotel for this day to this day. We need this. Like we're going to do trains from here to there.
And I think it's just because I'm more visual.
You're more visual, and I know that.
When do we check out? When do we check in?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
So
I know like, okay, this is the day we're going to be just like moving.
Yeah.
Luggage and stuff.
Yeah. So that was when we're typically doing trips, we're doing one, they're a lot smaller, and I feel like they're a lot lower stakes too. And so I typically am just like, okay, I booked our flights, I booked our this, I booked our that.
I'm gonna go check on the kids real quick.
Oh, okay, bye.
Hold on.
I'll just keep I'll just keep talking then. But yeah, typically we're going on these like shorter trips, and so we don't need to do all that much planning for it because it's all domestic, and so it's lower stakes. But when you're doing something like Tokyo or like an international trip, you want to make sure, especially because there's 4 of us going, so it's not cheap. And so we wanted to make sure that we were able to get all of the things done that we all want to do and see how it falls into place. And so now where we stand is like each day that we're there, we have 1 to 2 things that we plan on accomplishing each day. And so that's always how we are. It's like, what are the few things that will make, if we get those done, that will make it a success, then we're good. And so I think we have that set for every single day that we're there. Now I have to go do all of the actual booking, which in itself presents challenges because there's 2 different airports. if we're not going to necessarily go straight to Tokyo, like how do we navigate that? And so we're working through all of that. But once we get all of the travel booked, then I think becomes the next stage and maybe the final stage of our planning, which is like, what are things that we could do around, like we've got our 1 to 2 things that we have each day that we want to do, but what are the other things that we can do or to help us fill our day? Where are we going to eat? What can we go shop for? Oh God. And then how are we going to pack it all? That's been like my big obsession lately, which is so silly because we just got done doing so much travel. Did your microphone break?
Yeah.
Again.
Again.
We just got done doing so much travel, and now finally at this point I'm like, we need new luggage. But we put our luggage through the ringer.
Yeah.
And so we've been looking, but I don't want to spend a lot of money on luggage.
But I think right now, like, we are definitely on that testing. Like, we've put certain luggage through its paces, and you're kind of like, oh, that's not lasting. That's not lasting the way it should. And so we're trying different ones.
Okay. Galen says, I don't see how Japan is expensive unless you use credit cards and the delay in processing affects the exchange rate. Galen, a round trip flight for each of us is like $1,500, and there's 4 of us. I'm looking at like the Disney packages, the Tokyo Disney packages, and like it's an all-inclusive package, but for like 3 days, it's like $5,000. And that's just the Disney part of it. And then we have Celebration, which I don't think we're going to like actually buy anything. We've already bought the tickets for that, and those were actually cheap. But I don't know that we're going to buy too much while we're there. But then we're going to Tokyo. You guys all love anime and Pokemon and the Gundam. So we're going to have to go like seek out all of these things, and maybe we go to like a Pokemon cafe or a hotel or a cat cafe, or doing these experiences and these dinners. And we're looking at each of these dinners is like $100 a person. Yeah. It's like, that's more than what we would spend here at home on a meal. So it's like everybody's
I think if you went with like, I'm just going to go as cheap as I can, like, yes, you probably can, because your food and stuff, like, it's going to be cheaper. But
if you really want to go get these experiences, you're having to pay for it. So. Like, we're not going to eat 7-Eleven every meal.
Well, I don't know. The little ones may not eat regular food.
Justin, I will never financially recover for this. Dude, like, I think that's part of the reason why I don't want to plan
Right now, Galen, I'm saying BS. Once we go and we experience it, I'm like, you know what? It is cheap, but
I honestly had the thought today. I'm like, maybe I just don't go and you go with the kids, and it would be cheaper.
Go on without me.
I'm the problem. Go without me.
Don't look back.
I'm gonna go get ice cream. But yeah, it's expensive. Like, we were on a call with Naomi today, and we're like, okay, well, how do we transfer our luggage around from all these different places?
You got to pay for that.
You got to pay for that, and it's a lot, but it'll be fun. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be fun. It's just like, and yes, I am a travel agent. I am very well aware of this, but like, I don't typically book trips like this for people, and I don't because it's not. And I'm not comfortable with it. It's not in my wheelhouse.
Once if you were to do this, like on a normal basis, just be like, oh, it's second nature. This, don't do that. Do this. Don't do that. Do this.
Well, and that's the other piece of it too, Nate. Is like, he says, just leave the kids in the cat cafe for the trip. They would be absolutely, one in the cat cafe and one in the capybara cafe. But go, my son, leave me. But we also want to make the trip enriching for them as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, we want to go see Pokemon, we want to go see the Gundam, we want to go see all these like cool anime things and cat cafes and stuff, but we also want to go see temples, and we want to show them the world outside of like Epcot. Like, we want to show them.
I hope they don't like,
this is like Epcot. Better that than like, from Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
Remember when we went to New York and you were like, oh, this is like Call of Duty or whatever the game was?
Oh, that was Alcatraz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're like,
Oh,
oh,
New York too, because
you did
but
New
it's not
York.
a Call of Duty. That was Division.
You say that, Galen, but like, help me find flights that are not $6,000.
And I don't want to sit on somebody's lap.
No, I'll sit on your lap.
Okay.
But for that long, it's a long time.
Yeah.
You'll never recover from this. Yeah, it's a big trip. It's a big trip. I'm very excited for it though, but it's scary. Yeah. It's very scary. So
it's the unknown. I think that's what it is.
It's the unknown. You know what? We are in the last 10 minutes of the stream. We didn't even talk about Epic Universe or Adventure. Did you watch that video? Dude. Okay. I know I'm on like a Royal Caribbean kick right now. I love me. I've only been on one ship, which was the Icon of the Seas. But it was wonderful because it felt like Disney is great. Disney is a Disney ship. It's a very family friendly ship. Royal Caribbean feels more like a ship for everybody. It's not necessarily for families, meaning like on a Disney ship, there's stuff for the adults, there's stuff for the kids, there's stuff for the families. With Royal Caribbean, it felt like that, but there's also stuff for like adults traveling by themselves, for larger groups, for older groups, for younger groups. Like it feels more for the masses, but still being really good. And so Good Journeys.
I'll let you know.
Good Journey's going to be on a Royal Caribbean ship, but when they shared this, and I've also toured Carnival's newest ship, the Jubilee. It's a Jubilee, y'all, which is what they called the event because it was here in Texas. But when they shared the renderings and the videos of the Disney Adventure, it looks like a mashup of a Disney ship, a Royal Caribbean ship, a Carnival ship. And it's so frustrating that it is only going to be operating out of Singapore because I'm like, this is the cruise ship of my dreams. It has a roller coaster and like a Dumbo type ride, which the Carnival ships, cruise ships, the newer ones have a roller coaster on them. It has like a Central Park type, like open green space in the middle of the ship that opens up to the sky, but it has balconies overlooking this green space, which is just like the Central Park neighborhood on Royal Caribbean ships. Like it feels very different to a Disney cruise ship, but it still has, they're going to do a Coco show and they're going to have the Rapunzel dinner and all these other things that are very, very Disney. And I'm like, this is my dream cruise ship.
Oh, see? And that's why it's not once in a lifetime. Now you're going to go out there just to do the ship.
Just to do the ship. It looks great. It looks absolutely wonderful. I'm in a cruise. I'm in my cruise era right now, for sure. I love a cruise. It's so convenient.
We'll see. Like I said, we're doing a different one. I've only done Disney ones, and I've enjoyed it. I've felt value in it.
Because
we're gonna try a royal one.
Well, you liked HouseCon because we were at the hotel that the event was at. So if you're like, well, I'm gonna go to this panel, and I'm like, the kids are not ready. You're like, all right, see ya. I want to see ya.
That's what I like.
Leave.
Yeah.
Like I think it's the best of both worlds for us because like I can take my time. You'll be like, I'm at the bar. I'll see you when I see ya. Or you're like, I'm gonna go do this over here. But we can just catch up to each other.
Yeah.
I'm excited. The new Jubilee, my second cruise was on their first. Oh, I didn't realize that Carnival had a Jubilee before that. Learned something new. We have 5 minutes to talk about Epic Universe.
I mean, a lot of that stuff is kind of known. Like they've been slowly.
Yeah, they've announced all the worlds.
Dripping with all the news about it.
Yeah.
And all that is like now the date is May 22nd.
May 22nd is
goes
when
on sale next week.
Goes on sale October 22nd, along with the new Helios hotel that overlooks the park.
That's one of the hotels?
It's one of the hotels. So they're also going to have Stella Nova and Terra Nova, but those are not, I don't know that those are walkable to Epic Universe, but Helios is like next to the park. It's right there.
I see. Chad's going to be able to do it. Allows them to
Yeah.
You may have to tell us how it is.
Tell us, please. I would love to go on that if it wasn't in Singapore. But yeah, so it's interesting the way that they're doing it. So when when tickets initially go on sale for Epic Universe on next week, they're doing 3, 4, and 5 day tickets. But no matter if you buy the 3, the 4, or the 5 day tickets, only one of those days can you go to Epic Universe. So you have to, like, if you wanted to spend 2 days in Epic Universe, you're having to buy 2 3-day park tickets.
Wait, say that again?
So you have to buy it in a packet. You have to buy a 3, a 4, or a 5 day park ticket, but only one of those days can you go to Epic Universe.
Oh, okay. So you have to buy 2.
So if you buy 2 3-day tickets, you could go for 2 days. They will announce, and so I was doing some reading up on it. They are going to announce single day tickets. They're going to announce VIP. They're going to announce Express Pass at a later time, but also before the park opens. But like for this initial rush, if you want to be one of the first people to experience it, you have to buy a minimum of a 3-day ticket.
But it's not 3 days to Epic.
It's 1 day to Epic, and then you're forced to go to the other parks, which they have. Everybody thinks that they only have 2 theme parks. They do have Volcano Bay, which is also considered one of their theme parks. So if you buy a 3-day ticket, I believe that means you could also do like a day at Volcano Bay, which is supposed to be a very, very good water park. Or you could do Universal or Islands of Adventure. Oh, yeah. Teresa's also annual pass holders can buy up to 6 single-day tickets on the 24th. There's a set... Yeah, there's going to be a set amount of tickets set aside for annual pass holders during the opening week. And then they're also, because they're doing 3-day park tickets, and you could go any of those 3 days. It's not like you get a 3-day park ticket and you can only go the first day. You could go any of those days. So they're also limiting how many of those tickets they're selling. Because what if everybody buys a 3-day ticket and they all go on the first day?
Yeah.
Right?
That's what everybody's going to do.
Everybody's going to do.
Yeah. But with those packages, I can't do park to park. No Hogwarts Express.
Yep. Unless you could probably upgrade your ticket. Like if you did Epic the first day and then you did the other parks the other 2 days, you could probably upgrade your ticket on the second day.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because like who's all gonna are they gonna put a limit on who could go that first day?
Who can go or how many?
How many could go? I mean,
yeah, absolutely they will. Yeah, and they talked about that. They were like, we've limited the amount of tickets.
Okay, so they're only selling what they can.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, so they're
and they're not next to each other. Like Patrick, Universal's forcing families to choose between more time at Disney or Universal.
Universal and Disney are
Epic is not close to the other two.
No.
To Island Adventures and
so Disney and Universal are 30 minutes from each other, but Universal as it stands today. But Epic is like a 10 to 15 minute drive, I think, maybe 5. I don't know. From
the other Universal,
but from the other ones, you cannot walk between the two like you can walk between the two right now. But it's going to be interesting because I have never sold. I guess I have a lot of data points on this. I've never sold a Universal trip where they've gone to spend a day at Disney. I always sell Disney trips where they'll go spend a day at Universal. So with this and with having to buy a 3-day park ticket, what's that going to look like? Yeah. And I sell like just straight up Universal tickets or packages, but saying that people are going to have to split their time between Disney and Universal, like I'm going to be curious to see if it flips to people actually staying at the Universal resorts.
How to Train Your Dragon, I think that's going to be super cool. And then Nintendo.
The new hotel is going to have like
Nintendo is going to be cool.
You're going to hold your
I need a new mic arm, people.
Do you want me to be your mic arm? I'll just hold it for you.
I think I might just like
pull it off. I mean, we're at time. Universal opens in Frisco in June of 26. I haven't seen that.
That's the kid one. Yeah, I haven't seen.
It's like a smaller. It's more family friendly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, people do it just to experience that. But I agree. Like people are very excited, and this is the first time since we've been park goers that a new theme park has opened. Because I think the last theme park that opened was Animal Kingdom, and that was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So this is like I kind of feel like we forget what a big deal.
Well, I mean, the thing is like an entirely new theme park.
Yeah.
Like we've had Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, we've had new lands.
Like we've seen it before and then after.
Yeah.
So.
But for a brand new theme park.
Yeah.
Like that we've nobody has experienced yet. Like, it's not like us going to Tokyo that's already been open for however long it's been open.
Yeah, when do you think we're going to be able to get there, though?
To Epic?
Yeah.
I don't want to go the first week.
Exactly.
Therese was asking. She's like, you want to go the first week? I was like, I'm good. Thank you. Said Halloween Horror Nights is their bread and butter. I wonder what they'll do at Epic next Halloween. I don't think they're going to do a single thing at Epic.
Well, they're going to have
for
the
Halloween.
Dark.
They have the dark universe.
But I think they're going to keep it in like the other side.
Yeah.
Especially next year because...
Just leave it.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Board Game Cantina up in here. Hello. Now that we're leaving. The Donkey Kong roller coaster. That's, you know what's funny is like I'm just excited for Super Nintendo World. Like the other stuff is cool, but those IPs don't speak to me the same way. And we've done Super Nintendo World at Hollywood, so it's like, am I excited for Epic? Yes. If we were not theme park content creators, would we be like even considering going in the first year? Probably not.
I mean, again, I think it's the IPs. Harry Potter was kind of the biggest draw for us, but other than that, like there wasn't, because we have smaller kids, there's not that draw for Universal for us. Like every time we go, I'm like, I don't see the appeal for me.
Yeah.
Nintendo World's going to be really cool. I saw somewhere they were kind of like saying Simpsons is going to go and theorizing what's going to go there. And they theorized that a Pokemon thing would go there. If they did that, then I think we would be
first in line.
We would be we would be doing a lot more time there because our kids would be wanting to go there.
Yeah.
But again, it's just something to get them.
Dragon Ball Z.
Again,
we're on a big Dragon Ball Z kick right now. Jeffrey says I wouldn't want to fight the crowds. That's how I feel. I'm like, let it die down. You guys. Thing is, it's opening in May in Orlando. Do you know how hot it's going to be and how crowded it's going to be? Like, as it is, I don't like being outside in the heat.
My mom and I were at Disney when Animal Kingdom opened. Gates closed in less than an hour after they opened. They were packed. Again, I don't doubt it. Again, it's going to be nuts, and it'll be interesting to see, see it eventually.
Yeah. I'm not in any rush to like run over there as soon as it opens. I'll wait for the weather to get nicer, wait for the crowds to die down.
I mean, it's not going to die down
it's
for a while.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
It's not going to be died down for a while, but
I'm excited for it. I'm excited to like consume all of the content from it, but I don't think we'll be rushing out to.
You say that, so.
Don't anybody mark those words.
Yeah.
See you in May. Did Universal ever use a reservation system like Disney did? That is the one possible way to limit crowds. No, they didn't.
Yeah, Nate. We'll know they'll be there.
Yeah. Disney didn't need to do a reservation system. It's just not as busy as the Disney parks.
Yeah.
When is that going to go away? I cannot wait.
But
hold on. Wait, we got one more question. Board Game Cantina says, do we know if there will be attractions that won't be part of launch, like Rise of the Resistance? Not yet. I think they're trying to get everything done.
Everything open by then?
Yeah. So we won't know until we know. Right. Until it gets to be like the month before opening and they're like, oh, by the way.
And they may not. They may just say like, this is open, this is not open, like the cruise ships and stuff. Like,
yeah, that's the other thing. If you go in the beginning, we had an early adopter conversation about this on the podcast. If you're going that first week, don't expect everything. Don't expect.
But you have that expectation. Like we're aware of it. You're gonna be. It's gonna be packed. It's gonna be long lines. Like don't get upset at them at Universal because of us crowding it or they're not finished. It's like okay. They were able to pump this park out quick.
Faster than Tron.
So.
But real talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't be mad at the crowds because guess what? You are the crowds. And that's why we're staying home. Okay, I think that's it.
Yes. Until next time. Love you guys.
Bye.